Whenever you're ready, go ahead and hit it.
Oftentimes, saving money can lead to great success, and there are many ways to do that. But one very effective method of saving money is not buying name brands. Name brand items are often sold for much more than they are worth. There's several easy steps to do this effectively. First, you need to identify the name brand. This is pretty easy because you'll see a product that looks pretty average and it'll be sold for something that looks for much more than what it's worth. The next thing you can look up is the quality of the product. If it has the same quality as any other product you could buy for a much less amount of money, it's probably not worth the money you're spending on it. The third step is to find a cheaper option. You can look online and research any other product that you want. Just look up the product and you can usually find anything much cheaper that's the same quality. You might be thinking, but not all name brands are bad, and you're right. But here are some specific ones I would not recommend buying from. Both of them are on your handout. One of them is Supreme. This is very bad. They sell things for way more than they're worth. They'll sell a normal headband that is made by a company, which sells it for $7 on their website, and they sell it for $200 on theirs. This is a very large profit margin, and definitely not worth it in any way. Beats are another problem. You can buy headphones for about $20 from most websites that are okay quality, and if you really want good quality, you can get them for about $150 max. Beats sell their headphones, which are not that great of quality, for $200 when they're only worth $13 to produce and make completely. I got both of these sources from the websites they're sold on, so this is definitely the truth. Another bad name brand is Jordan's. These are sold for much more than they are worth. Although they might be good quality shoes, you can find the same kind of shoes for much less on any other website. I found this on the Citizens Times website on paragraph 6. Jordans are usually sold for, shoes are normally sold for about 50 to 70% profit margin, and Jordans are sold for 80 to 90 of a profit margin. This is basically just stealing your money for the same quality products you could get from anything else. There's another easy way to identify if you know a company is overcharging you for a certain product. You can look at what it costs to make the product, and then you can look at what they're selling it for. This is called the profit margin. I spoke of this a little bit earlier. So let's say somebody makes pencils, and they have a 10-pack of pencils for about $1, and they're selling it for $20. That's a pretty big profit margin, because they're making $19 off of a single pack of pencils that costed them $1 to make. Even though these pencils are the same quality pencils you could probably get anywhere else, you might be able to find them for cheaper. Always make sure to research something before you buy it, because you don't want to end up buying something that's a bad quality for too much money, because you will regret it. Set a set amount that you want to spend on something before you buy it, because if you don't, then you'll wind up spending more than you want most of the time. And then always find the cheapest, best item for what you want the quality to be. Brand name items are not always bad, but you can almost always find another product that's cheaper and better from a non-name brand. Saving money is important, and this method is a very easy way and simple way to do that. It is important for consumers like you to stand up to these companies and not let you support their overcharging, scamming ways. If we do not stop these companies, they will continue to take our money and advantage of us. Thank you for listening to my rant, and I hope this affects the way you shop for things in the future.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, at this time, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. And Tom, you can go ahead and call on who you'd like.
So how can you tell if the product is of good quality when you're online shopping? Because sometimes you'll order something and you assume because of the good reviews when you get it and it's like not even.
On most products, you can scroll down and it'll show what the stats are, or you can look up the product online on an actual actual website or something, and you can see the products and then different qualities of the product and compare it to other products. Jackson.
You were speaking about the profit margins between some of the larger like name brand companies. Do you know of the profit margins between like the off-brand stuff? Do you know how those?
Usually, most companies will sell something for a profit margin between like 50% and like 70%, which is pretty average. Vera.
So what about name brand things sold through Amazon? Is it the same, or because if I went to the legit like Beats website and bought a pair for $235, and then I went Amazon and looked and it was only like, I think it was $195.
Yeah, that's another good thing to look for. If something's on sale or not, you can usually get it for cheaper. But Amazon is usually pretty trustworthy in my experience. But yeah, actual websites themselves will sell things for more than they're worth a lot of the time. And other companies, since they mass buy, can buy a lot of that product for a little bit less than they're worth and then sell it for a little bit less too, which in return usually means they sell more. Luke.
Alright, so you mentioned Amazon being a reliable, website you can go to for lower prices. Do you know of any others?
A few name brands are actually pretty trustworthy. Sony is pretty good. Apple is actually, surprisingly, since their costs are so much, is actually pretty good for buying things. And you can normally just look up quality of things, how much they spent making it, and how much you're buying it for. And if the profit margin is over 70%, I wouldn't recommend buying it. Trendy.
How do name brands like Supreme become so popular if it's so overpriced?
Because people see it as like fame or whatever. Like if that person has a Supreme shirt, they must be really cool because they have a lot of money or whatever. But really, they're just not.
But is it because of like a famous person or who advertises
They
it
could
or what?
be supported by like famous people, but normally it's just because they're expensive. People see something that's expensive and they're like, that person has a lot of money, that makes them cool. But really, it just means they're wasting their money on something that they shouldn't have.
Anything else? All right, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Tom.